Hi there, I'm Professor Seth Frey. Now, we've talked previously about why code, why we learn that, why what good it does, but we haven't gotten to the more specific question of why Python. Why are we learning this one language? Why is it the place I'm starting you off at? So we're going to start just talking about all the jargon and keywords generally and just throw a bunch out. Then we'll get into specifically Python and I'll give you a little pep talk about why it's not too important which one you learn first. So there's a lot of jargon in learning a code. Now, as you get better, you're going to get this sort of comfort that no matter how weird a name or how many capital letters it has in its name, the underlying concept of a thing isn't going to be that much. And you're going to get pretty good at getting like a 2%, 5% level understanding of a lot of jargon, and then, like a 60, 70, 50, 80% knowledge of just a couple things within that. You're going to be pretty comfortable with your ignorance about the vast majority of things, and you'll be able to talk shop, throwing around phrases like JavaScript and C++ and HTML and CSS. And you'll know that some of those things are hard and some are easy, some are kind of trivial. They're just too much name for too little concept, while others are sort of really more involved in kind of hardcore. Python sits right in the middle. It's a real language. It does real things. So it's to be taken seriously. But it's also friendly enough and almost like human enough to be just a great place to start and introduce you to a lot of concepts and give you access to just a lot of the general power of code. So, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, Python's the best first language that you could learn today, and you're going to find it's one of the most hireable languages around. It's widely used and respected. It's a very strong community, which I mean that if you got to teach yourself something, if you've gotten a little bit of a foundation like this course or some intro course, enough to kind of get you pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps and really teaching yourself something useful, Python's really beautiful for that. There's just so many people online who want to help you for free, who want to teach you concepts for free. And it was written to be readable. You can, I'm going to, give you practice skimming code and sort of getting the gist of code without 100% understanding it. Now, that might sound awful, and it could be awful, but it's also good to be able to just get the gist of things. Python makes that easy and friendly and very doable. So now having argued for why you should learn Python, now I'm going to argue for why it doesn't matter that much. Maybe if you know more than one language and you've picked up a third, or if you're one of these amazing people who knows 3 languages and you've picked up a 4th, you've observed that every single one gets a little easier because you start being like, oh, that's like Spanish, and oh, that's like English, and oh, wait, that's just like Italian. And so you start to be able to learn some of the general concepts that all languages have in common, which helps you scaffold and build knowledge more and more quickly. Now, programming languages are exactly the same thing, but easier. It doesn't take the same number of decades to become fluent in a programming language that it does in a spoken language, and the transfer is so much better. The similarity between programming languages is much higher than the similarity between a bunch of human English languages. And so once you know one, once you know two, every single one becomes easier. Basically, what I'm saying is you get good at one, you don't have to be intimidated by any other language. And you'll eventually one day become a lot more likely to say, oh, well, for this job, this is the best language, so I better pick it up. This kind of thing actually happens. And you can get there. And Python is going to start you off on that track real nicely. It's got a lot going for it. It sits right in the middle. It's super powerful, but also quite accessible. And so having learned why to code, now we have a little bit of sense of why we're learning this specific language. Maybe you'll proceed with a little bit more confidence through the lessons that I am putting you on the right track for your future with code.